around the digital space. This morning, in the workshop, we took this approach from the church perspective on how to do more digital mission in our church. We have been talking about 3 ways of doing digital church. This is the last one, the creative church. We have been talking about some tools that we can use in order to apply them to our ministry in the church. The user journey map. Don't worry, you will have the whole presentation for downloading. At the end of this presentation, you will see a QR code, so you will be able to download it. So this afternoon, I want to take another approach to this topic of digital mission, not from the church perspective, but from the pastoral and personal perspective. Do you agree with this? Are you okay? Yeah? Can I see your hands? Good. Thank you. Thank you for the support. This is like the index about the presentation. We're going to talk a little bit from the theoretical background about cultures. Then we will look at some data regarding this digital field that we have. And finally, we will invest some time talking about some tips, practical tips for your ministry, not as church, but as pastor in a practical and personal way. So let's start with the first one, the cultures, and some disclaimers here. What you're going to see now is like a simplification of the evolution of communication through history. Communication ecosystems are always complex. The cultures we are going to see next, oral, written, and digital, coexist today, but they do predominate over each other in certain periods. And the last one, and I think we can agree, all of us in this, is that the new communication technologies change our way of thinking, perceiving, feeling, communicating, and of course the way of transmitting and living the gospel. So after these disclaimers, I think that also we can agree that before sin, the entrance of sin in the world, we had a direct presence of God with us. But after sin, everything changed, right? And we have a mediated relationship with God. The first culture, the oral culture, it uses hearing and memory. It's communal and local, physically. The community listens to a prophet who speaks in the name of God. There is no Bible, and I repeat this, there is no Bible in every house, and the word is transmitted orally, word by mouth, yeah? Subsequently, the beginning of written revelation, Moses, prophets, history, which is read publicly. Then we are doing this big jump in history. We have the written culture. Of course, we keep using hearing and memory, but now the predominant idea is the eyes, because you have to read what is in front of you. It is more individualistic, and it remains. The words that we say are flying in the air, but the written word is something different. The community also listens to the preacher, but now we have access to books and Bibles and to their reading and study without the mediation of other powers. So spread of knowledge, literacy, widening of potential readership are some of the characteristics of this culture. And now we are living in the last one, the digital culture. It uses sight and hearing, and it is also dramatic. And I say this because we love special effects in this area. It is communal and global, but not physically, but virtually, and at the same time, individual. Community listens to communicators. And who are those communicators? Well, community speaks to community because each person has the potential to create content for themselves and by themselves. This is something different, totally new at the other cultures before. We have access to information. Information is not the same as knowledge. Knowledge requires a process of understanding the information. We cannot be confused with this. There is a primacy of the images, videos, shorts, intelligence, artificial intelligence. We have access to diverse platforms and networks. We live in a fluid era, instantaneous communication, acceleration, and hyperstimulation. Why? Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I have found, in my experience, a lot of resistance and friction against the use of digital culture. Even after going through the digital or virtual baptism, almost by fire, that we all went through in the pandemic. You can remember pastors in 2010, don't go to Facebook. But in the beginning of the pandemic situation, the situation was very different. But we still have these issues with digital culture. And why this? Because this is, for me at least, not just a theory, but the foundation, the reason why we can use digital culture for the benefit of the gospel. So we are going to make a zoom in the last culture in the following. Some first conclusions here. After the entrance of sin, we know that God relates to human through different means, and we experience a mediated relationship. History shows us that God has used different cultures to transmit His word to us and to relate to us. Orality, writing, and now the digital. In every age, God has adapted. And if God has adapted, how can I not? People have known and experienced God and His message of salvation through different expressions and forms. And in my case, and maybe this is also your case, I tend to value written culture more than digital culture. I am more comfortable in it. I like to read. I find it easy to get into a text or let the text convey to me what it wants to say. That is why I insist on bringing people to the written word. However, maybe you can feel the same as me, very comfortable in the written culture. However, my reality, my belonging to the written culture has been shaken. How you feel the earthquake? Yeah? Has been shaken by a new culture, the digital one. And as church, we are in this process of transition from one culture to another one, and we need to be honest, we don't quite know how to do it. And this is normal, because this is part of the process, the evolution of the communication. There are no easy answers. Change processes always involve frictions. Regarding this digital culture, I'm sure that this is your reality. This guy receives a daily WhatsApp from the deaconess who loves to say good morning with a biblical text. He goes on YouTube, watches a video of a famous Adventist preacher with a catchy title, and in the suggestions of the videos on YouTube, he sees an ex-pastor criticizing the church and introducing doctrinal ideas that are foreign to the Bible. She goes on Instagram, and on the same screen, at the same time, she sees biblical motivational phrases, which make her believe that today she has already read the Bible, photos of sexy girls in bikini, and her cousin walking her dog. On Tuesday, on his personal Facebook profile, he shares with his friends a short video, a piece of a Christian video that he has liked, and he thinks that he has already evangelized for the whole week. I can see a few smiles in your faces, And I know why. Because you live this culture. Because you are living in this situation in your church. This is my church. This is a description of my church. On Thursday, he listens to an excellent, useful, and helpful podcast. The church sermons bores her, so the following Sabbath she searches the internet for his favorite preacher, one who talks about what she wants to hear. She doesn't really like it that day, so she jumps to another content, but ends up watching cat videos and fail army. And then he passed a link to a news item about the papacy on Sunday. He has only read the headline and does not know if it is a reliable source, but he shares it because it confirms his ideas. Are you... Okay, I can feel that you are with me. This is not coming from another world. This is our reality. And we need to navigate through all this, because here we have challenges, but also we have opportunities for the gospel. A few years ago, the Sabbath was the main day, and the spiritual experience was there in the temple with the congregation physically. Now it's totally different. And we have to understand that the virtual world is there, and that we are in a high exposure to all types of content, not only we, but our membership in our church. And we need to consider this in order to reach them, not only from the Sabbath, from the pulpit, but during the week. We today encounter with a new kind of member, a fluid church member. Online and offline environments are together, are the same today, and move between different networks or contexts, and many of which are outside their local congregation. This is our reality. The spiritual experience is not only on Saturday, but is lived at other times of the week in other contexts. So what I publish during the week, what I share, what I see, what I say, also makes church. And if we think about non-Christians, all above, and of course other factors there. We have talked about cultures. Let's see some statistics here, some data about this digital culture. You can see the population there and how many of us are using mobile phones, almost 70%, and social media, 60% of the population. This is the timeline, and we can see how during the years is increasing and increasing and increasing. We have spent per day more than 6 hours on the internet, finding information, staying in touch with friends and family. We use websites and apps for chat and messaging, social networks, search engines. And we are using social media today more than 2 hours and a half. All this data, all these metrics to show you that people are there. We are there. And maybe for you, as for me, the networks and the social media is like Babel. It's like Nineveh. But even Nineveh and even Babel needs light. We have this huge country, almost 3 billion people living on Facebook. You will have this data to rest in the metrics, but we use YouTube almost 24 hours per month. You can see TikTok, which is a platform increasing for the youth. Instagram, Facebook. You have social media activities here. We are not going to spend time here, but you will have this information for you. And we need to know the medium, because if we want to reach youth people, please don't open a Facebook page. you need to open an account on TikTok, okay? If you speak the language of TikTok, yeah? We're gonna talk about this in a few moments. So this represents a new digital continent where there are many different countries, applications, inhabitants, users, languages, formats, and customs, users. This represents a new field of missionary work that can become a powerful communication tool in the service of the gospel. She, as marketing specialist that she was, said, ministers of God must make use of every means that can possibly be devised for causing the truth to stand out clearly and distinctly. Let every worker study, plan, devise methods to reach the people where they are. And we have seen where people are. We must do something out of the common course of things. We must arrest that tension. Let's go now in the last part of the presentation with some practical tips for you. First one, social networks are not a substitute for personal relationships. Be aware of reaching out to those who are far away, but distancing yourself from those who are near. Social media makes it possible to reach a much larger flock and community than our local church members, but our local church must be the priority, amen, and the focus of our attention. A second aspect is the fact that replacing face-to-face interactions with WhatsApp or Facebook messages, okay, no doubt that opening new channels is positive. Some people would rather write to you in a private message than tell you something face-to-face. It is easier to write, I love you, than to say it. And this is something good for social network because you can communicate with people who are not gonna say to you things face-to-face. But without forgetting that we cannot maintain only a digital relationship with our members. There are certain issues that is not possible to deal with by internet. We need face-to-face. I'm constantly dealing with problems that are dragged out over social networks when they could very easily be solved face-to-face. A second idea, people behave differently in the social web than in physical reality. Words and ideas are not transmitted the same way face-to-face as they are through the social network. The absence of body language constrains how our message is understood. Many trolls and critics only exist because they find in the social media a speaker that they don't have in physical reality. Most criticisms and harsh words found on social media would not exist if they were moved to a physical context. We have much more respect for people we see face-to-face than for those we don't see, as we somehow despersonalize them. We don't consider them as people so much as profiles. Don't be too social. You don't have to be posting all day long. We live in an era of the intoxication. It's like information intoxication. Today, the challenge is to filter the thousands of impacts that reach us every day in social networks, internet, news, and 90% of these impacts are of no interest or use to us. So show yourself close, but the church member will not be served by you posting every hour. He will end up thinking that you do nothing else. Be measured there. But at the same time, be constant. The algorithm rewards the regularity of the post. So if you post a video every Monday, do it every Monday in order to reach that, because the social network likes that. And also, be real. Be real. You have to show your wounds, your scars. From that reality, you can connect better with the public, with your audience. Number 4, consider your motivations. What are you looking for? Are you looking, and ask to yourself these questions, are you looking for likes, or do you want to transmit a good message to the people? We tend to identify like seekers only with those who exercise physically and this kind of posturing, appearance, but there are also those who do intellectual or religious posturing. Selfies can be graphic or verbal. Of course, we all like to receive words of appreciation, consideration, or likes, but this should be not the motivation, but the consequence of your ministry. Number 5, the written words remain. If you are not sure, don't publish it. You can delete your post, but it is possible that someone has taken a picture that will keep forever, or have already shared it with others. There are more people looking than it seems. If you are not sure about posting, don't post it. I use this test when I want to post something on my social networks. Imagine that your post or photograph is going to be exhibited on a 10-meter by 10-meter canvas on the main strip of the capital city of your country. If you agree with this, go for it. You have something to say. If not, don't do it. Don't do it. I've never regretted not posting something, but I have regretted posting something. Avoid meddling where you are not called. I love this proverb. Like one who grabs a stray dog by the ears is someone who rushes into a quarrel not their own. I'm going to show you a few examples. A few years ago, in Argentina, the church was accused of trafficking medical and technological equipment. And in one of the news, I went to the comments down, and I saw this. I don't think they are any more vandals than you are, my dear. What do you think about that response? Good or bad? Yeah, of course. And if you click, you're going to find a pastor behind those words. We can't do that. We are not called to be on that kind of fighting and wars. Another one, maybe some of you know Dante Gebel. He's a preacher from North America, very well-known Spanish preacher. You can see a comment there. He looks more like a comedian. And can you see the answer of the pastor, Dante Gebel? I'm a comedian, but never get carried away, but that it looks like. You look like a criminal or narc, yet you are an Adventist pastor. Do you feel it? What is he doing? Why? No, brothers, no, sisters, this is not our mission. This is not our call. We need to use social media in a proper way, not as a weapon to fight against others. Of course, he was a pastor. Another example, how to destroy atheism using the Bible in 5 minutes. Really? Really? Brothers and sisters, no, please, this is not our mission. We have something better to say. 7, avoid taking political positions. If you do it, or want to express an opinion about a certain position, do it from social criticism, not from politics. Are you with me? Religion wins when our position is more of a counterpower than a political servant. whether of one party or another. In this way, you will avoid unnecessary conflicts with members who probably do not share your political vision, and this is an impediment to have a good relationship with your audience. Number 8, a social network is public. Be aware of the consequences. When you post something on your social network, anyone can make a comment, and not all of them will always be positive. The best way not to start an argument is not to provoke one. Even so, opinions of all kinds will appear, but we must know which ones to reply to and which ones to let pass. Check the origin of the content. Be careful where you click. Please avoid conspiracies, fake news. Be focused on Jesus and our message. Do not put your finger, your hand, your mouse on links that even you are not aware but are going to appear in your social media. Number 10, in this digital culture, we suffer of superficiality, information overdose, confusion, and also opportunities. We know this concept, deep fakes, post-truth, the rapid dissemination of the lie. We don't have time to go deeper in this, but we are living in Babel, in a time of confusion, absolutely. And social media are part of that, absolutely. But we need to be part of the solution because there are many opportunities there. 11, preaching is not limited to the Sabbath, but continues in any of our interactions. We need to be intentional. Everything you publish must have a purpose aligned with the gospel. Be biblical. Ask for the gift of tongues that you may be understood. And this is serious. When Acts is talking about the gift of tongues, man, I don't speak the language of TikTok. I don't have that gift. But I know some people who have that gift. If you don't have that gift, don't worry. You can study, but if you don't want to study that kind of language, refocus your efforts. Maybe you don't need the digital media in your church. You just need to hack your people there and to embrace them, okay? What do people need now, today? How can I be useful for them? This is, as we were saying this morning, this is not a technological question that we are facing. This is an ecclesiological question. I give you an example from YouTube, for example. This is not only uploading a video and that's it. If you are a YouTuber, and I know there is a guy here who yesterday approached me, if you want to be a YouTuber, you need to consider many things in order to reach your audience. The thumbnails, the titles, the descriptions, the tags, keywords. And this is just the surface that we need to consider in order to engage with people in the social media. Expressions, words, your vocabulary, your codes. Many things to do there. Please don't use Google Images. You have many other free stocks of images and videos that you can use. Go there, and your presentations are going to improve much better. It's good to have the good doctrine, but we also need the good communication to reach people with that message. You have there many, many options that you can check out after the presentation that you can download. 13, adding value. Before writing or spreading an image, you should ask yourself, do I bring light and understanding? Is helpful what I'm going to say? We are called to be a compass in Babel. So if you have to say, if what you have to say is not better than silence, better keep silent. And the last one, the aim, the goal, the objective is to create a community of hope. Listening, we need to listen to the people. What is the conversation around us? How can I go in that conversation? It's much easier to go in a conversation than to create a new conversation in order to put our message there and our hope there. Don't fall into the temptation of numbers, views, metrics. Don't go crazy. And it's important. I'm the Hope Media Director for the Spanish Union. It's important to have good data, but it's not all. We need a balanced message, healthy biblical message, even if we don't have 10,000 viewers. Don't worry. It's not our goal to have viewers. Our goal is to give a good message to people. Bible message, focus on content and people. This morning we were talking about this third space. We don't care about physical space. We don't care about digital space. Those are only excuses. The point, the goal is to bring people to that third space, so we can transform the digital space into a transcendent space, so we can transform the physical space as transcendent space. Why? Because we are ambassadors of Jesus Christ here. So this is our goal. I don't care about digital. Maybe it's not your necessity. I don't care about physical space. Think to bring people to that third space wherever you are. You can find in the Bible many texts regarding this. Do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, whatever you do. And when you post, don't be like the hypocrites, to be seen by others. No. This is not our mission. This is not our motivation. Those who are their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is noble, think about such things and share those things. In brief, being on social media is much more than only be there. The second verb, evangelizing, implies an attitude, an intention, a mission channeled through this medium where the power of God resonates. And this requires spending time getting to know the medium, the audience, tools, resources, and possible strategies. You have to be where people are, even if it is not a place of light. You are called to bring light to that place. Not every person has to be in every network. Don't worry, don't get crazy with this. But there have to be people in the networks. So empower your youth. Educate them how to use the social media to share the gospel, not only funny cats videos, because we have an opportunity there. If we use it wrongly, networks can be a trap. If we use correctly, networks can be tools with many possibilities. There are times when you have to leave the nets and follow Jesus. And there are other times, the Bible says, when Jesus asks you to throw the net. But you can only throw the net. Are you with me here? This is the most important point. If you have first been with Jesus. Test them all, hold on, what is good? Digital is only a vehicle, not an end in itself. It is a tool, a channel for something much bigger than us, more important than us. Focus on Jesus, build community, share hope. You have there my contact, and also you can download from here the presentation and the workshop of of this morning. So thank you for your attention. May God bless you.